Obesity is a national epidemic and a major contributor to some of the leading causes of death in the U.S., including heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and some types of cancer. We need to change our communities into places that strongly support healthy eating and active living. Hello, my name is Valerie Bogar, and this is Insight. And today I had two guests here, and I want you to go ahead and introduce yourselves. I understand that you're part of the Florida Department of Health, Okaloosa,
Yes.
correct? So can you guys please introduce yourselves for everybody?
Yes. My name is Chandra Williams. I am a health educator consultant with the Florida Department of Health in Okaloosa County.
Okay.
And I'm Catherine Coulter, and I'm the Healthy Okaloosa Coordinator, also with the Florida Department of Health in Okaloosa County.
Well, welcome. So, I'll ask you this: when did you get started into this, and learning about health, or what made you into that?
Well, my master's degree is in health education, and I've always been interested in helping other people, trying to get them to the place where they need to get. So I'm just real excited when this position came available to do the 5210. So I just want to get out there and help kids and just help families and just help the community.
Cool. And Catherine, how did you get started?
A little bit by accident. I've always worked in community-based organizations or with education. And when I relocated to Florida a couple of years ago, this position opened at the health department, working with community-based organizations to increase health in Okaloosa County. So it was a good fit and a great opportunity.
Well, sounds cool. I didn't really get to know that much about you guys, and I didn't really know you guys existed, so it was until really recently. Mm-hmm. So I'm so glad that you're here on the show, because I'm sure a lot of people probably are like, I had no idea either. Yeah. So, Catherine, what's happening in our county to make Okaloosa healthier?
Well, I'm glad you really asked that, because one of the most important things we do in public health is to bring the community together to work on issues such as chronic disease and communicable disease, to make Okaloosa County a healthier place to live, learn, work, and play. And here we call this the Healthy Okaloosa Collaborative, and this group came together and they really decided on 3 priority areas here in Okaloosa County, and those are access to care, tobacco use, focusing on cessation, and this whole concept of healthy lifestyles, which the 5210 program fits into.
Oh, cool. I know it's interesting you mentioned about tobacco and stuff, because I remember forever ago when I was in school, I remember SWAT, and then also Students Against Tobacco. Yeah. I remember that. I was in that, so it was kind of interesting because they were really into that, teaching kids. And I know I grew up when they're saying tobacco bad, we really had that, and so it's cool that you had that, and you're also incorporating something new. And Chandra, can you please tell us more about the 5210 program?
Yes, the 5210 initiative is a very, very, very simple message to get people to make healthier lifestyle choices. So anyone of all ages can utilize the 5210. It focuses on healthy eating, it focuses on being physically active, and also focus on staying away from things that are bad for you. So we're just out in the community trying to promote that message, and it can be used anywhere. It can be used in schools, it can be used in work sites, it can be used in after-school programs, it can be used in child care programs, and also in healthcare. So anyone can use the 5210.
I think this is cool because honestly, I don't think people really know how to eat healthy or what it is or what kind of lifestyle. So you hear it all the time, you need to eat healthier and stuff. And sometimes, on a personal level, I've heard when I say, okay, well, can you grab a healthy snack or whatever, and they grab something that's not necessarily, or artificial sweeteners in there. They don't really know that much. And I'm just I don't think people do know. You tell them all the time. Right. So with that, can you please explain more what the numbers mean?
Yes, the numbers are very, very simple to explain how to have a healthier lifestyle. And the 5 stands for eat at least 5 fruits and vegetables a day. And a lot of people don't realize how many fruits and vegetables they need to eat. And so the number 5, that's what it stands for, eat 5 fruits and vegetables a day. And people don't realize the portion size that they need to eat. And so with the 5, when we are in the community, we are teaching and letting people know how much they need to eat. And we've also incorporated breastfeeding with the 5. And like I said earlier, it fits all ages. And so we are out there promoting breastfeeding for the mothers so that baby can have a healthier start. The 2 stands for limit recreational screen time to at least 2 hours or less. And we know kids, they are so into video games.
It's not just kids. I think adults
Yeah,
too.
that's
I
true.
got my I think kids, adults like it too.
Right. And you know, when you're into those video games, into those different screens, you're not moving, and so you're not being active, and so you're not exercising, and your body is just staying still. So we are out in the community trying to teach kids and also families some other alternatives that they can do besides using screens. The 1 stands for be physically active for at least 1 hour a day. And some people say that may be kind of hard to get in for that busy working person. But like I said before, you can fit it into anywhere. For example, you know, people at work, you have like 15-minute breaks.
Right.
You can walk around your building or inside your building. I know at the health department, we have stairs. And so instead of us using the elevator, we'll go up the stairs just to get our exercise in. So you can fit it in anywhere where you are. The 0 stands for cut back on sugar-sweetened drinks, and also eliminate the use and exposure to tobacco. And people don't realize what they're putting into their bodies when it comes to sodas and when it comes to juice. You know, they're doing all that sugar is going in, and it leads to cavities, that leads to other diseases like diabetes, some forms of cancer. So the best thing for a person to do is drink water.
Right.
And of course, tobacco. Everyone knows the harmful effects of tobacco, so we are out there promoting the effects of tobacco when we're out in the community.
Right. That's cool that you mentioned that. Like, well, several things on there I know people would struggle with, like the screen time thing. I know that's kind of tough. And I think some too is everything is so convenient now, and since everything's so convenient, with that means that people don't really want to move as much. Even with like businesses, everything is like, so it's good that you mentioned the recreational part of that, because some people their business is online and stuff.
Right.
And then far as getting their workout in, and I know I go to University of West Florida in Pensacola, and they keep expanding it. Well, their math department, it's a 4-story building, so then I walk 4 flights of steps, and most of the students do that actually, and the whole campus, if you're familiar with it, it's really
hills.
The hills.
Yeah.
So you're kind of having, because there's parking is in another story, so pretty much I walk a mile to get to class practically. But that's what you said, it's a good idea, you know, and I partly want to take the elevator, but then I know I feel good. You know, before I get to calculus, I may be huffing and puffing, but I'm just like, you know what? I got my little workout in. I'm ready to learn.
Exactly.
So that's good that you mentioned that. And even, you know, if people park farther away or any kind of way, so it doesn't necessarily mean they have to, you know, go to the gym and do 200-pound weights or something.
No.
So that's good. And then also sugar. And so what do you think people have like issues with sugar? Do you have like any techniques on that? Because I noticed you have your little drink containers and stuff on how to do it. You said to try to bring in more water, so.
Yes, and what we do is when we actually go out into the community, we actually set up a sugar display table that people can actually see the soda, they can see the juice, and they can see how much sugar that's in each one. If you notice with this Mountain Dew, it has 19.25 teaspoons of sugar. So that's a lot of sugar. So we are out actually educating people about the sugar, and 1 teaspoon of sugar equals 4 grams. So when you're looking on the back of your nutritional label, you can see how much sugar is in the drink.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that too, because I know a lot of parents I've seen, they keep getting their children a lot of sugary drinks and they think it's okay with them. And I noticed you even have sports drinks and they think that it's good for them and they don't really do anything. So I read recently that a new study finds that much of child's weight fate is set by age 5, and that almost half of the kids who become obese by the 8th grade were already overweight when they started kindergarten. Can you tell us more about that, Catherine, about what that is?
Right, so the research is telling us that if a child is overweight and obese early in life, that it's more likely to translate into adulthood. It's not necessarily that baby fat or those chubby kids that'll eventually grow out of it, like we heard maybe growing up. So our 4-year-olds are 20% more likely to be obese as adults, but by the time they're in 8th grade, if they're obese, that jumps up to 80%.
Wow.
So we really are working with this 5210 initiative to get it out into the community, really work with those families and those young children and the service providers that work with them to encourage these healthy lifestyle behaviors to be adopted early on in life. We can establish those habits early. It's a simple message, and these kids develop them and they carry them with them throughout life.
Wow, that is good. I'm glad you mentioned that too, because some people, I guess, think it's adorable when I've seen kids and you're like, yeah, they're cute.
You have those chubby cheeks, and we grew up, and it's just something, oh, isn't that a cute child, or they'll grow out of it. But the research is really starting to show us that that's not the case.
Yeah, well, that's cool that you mentioned that. And so I think a lot of people are probably wondering too, like, well, how can we learn about more on the 521? So you said that there's like various sites that people can look at and also spread the word about the 521 initiative, and how the kids can get engaged is also by doing like fun games to make it so it won't seem like torture, like you know, you need to get small and whatever. So did you say you had like some fun games and stuff that the kids can do?
Yes, yeah, we've been out in the community at various health fairs, back to school events. We've been at various different types of community events, and so when we are there, we actually set up shop. We make it fun, so the kids want to get engaged and want to do and want to be active. Over the summer, we actually worked with Eleanor Johnson Community Center with their youth, and we actually did the Happy Dance. And so that's a really good way to get your heart rate pumping and getting it really good workout. We also did a 5210 Jeopardy game, in which it was very, very interesting to do that game because the kids actually they showed us what we taught them with physical activity, with fruits and vegetables and things like that. So, and also we've worked with Youth Village. We've been working with Youth Village, and one of the things that we found out is that you have to capture the kids' attention. Exactly. Because if not, then, you know, you're like, oh, I don't want to do that. So we have some hula hoops. And the kids actually did a hula hoop competition. And we actually had to stop because it was like 3 of the young ladies that kept going and going. So, but they had so much fun. That
is so cool that you're like doing that for the kids and having so much fun. So we're actually going to go on a little break, but when we come back, we're actually talk a little bit more what you actually do at these sites and how you present them, because I see all these cool props and I'm kind of eager to learn about them. So please don't go away and stay tuned with us here on Insight.
Our commitment to the community is something that we believe in and act on every single day. It's a key part of our culture and who we are as a company.
Cox donates millions of dollars in cash and in-kind services to support local nonprofit and civic organizations each year. We recognize that a healthy community is a growing community. Here's a look at just a few of the organizations we support right here in Northwest Florida.
We're extremely proud of all these local partnerships.
Together, we are working to make the Gulf Coast thrive.
On our show, Level Up, we track down all kinds of monsters that escape our favorite video game and bully their way into the real world.
Real life bullying? That's an entirely different problem.
He'll do his best to get on your nerves, but the smartest thing you can do is try and stay calm, walk away, and find a teacher or other adult. Together we can all stop bullying by speaking up.
Go to stopbullying.speakup.com to find out more.
This PSA brought to you in part by the Cox Southeast Region Diversity Council and Cox Communications.
What is a community? Is it where we live? Is it what we do or what we love? Is it our schools, our classes, our streets? Is it our diversity or our children? It's all of these things. And with your contribution to United Way, our community can thrive. Your support moves people from poverty to possibility. United Way, real people, real results.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds. Stop the texts. Stop the wrecks. Visit us at stoptextstoprex.org.
Hi, we're back here on Insight, where we're talking about the obesity epidemic in America with Chandra and Catherine from the Okaloosa County Health Department. And I know before we were talking a little bit about what the 5210 initiative is, and basically just an easier way to get people to eat healthier, how many portions of vegetables and fruits they're supposed to have,
Right.
limiting the amount of time, the screen time, recreational, and then getting more active and fit, and then staying away from the sugar and also tobacco. So now I think this is the fun part, because then we have props, and we're going to go ahead and look at that.
Absolutely.
So if you guys can go ahead and give us like a little bit of a demonstration idea of what it's like when you go to different sites and talk to people.
Absolutely. So when we're out, especially at community health fairs or working with the youth or service providers, one of the things we take is this portion distortion kit. And it's a great way because people are like, what is the serving size of fruit? What is the serving size of vegetables? And a lot of times people think they need to eat this massive salad to get one serving of vegetables, and that's not the case. So for instance, we tell kids, you know, this is a light bulb. This is a serving size of broccoli or any other vegetable. And this is kind of what you want to aim for when it's on your plate. The same thing goes with fruit, the size of a baseball or a tennis ball, something that easily fits in most children's or adults' hands. Something really easy to remember. And the big one is we talk about the pancake a lot. So one of my favorite foods, and a lot of the kids, they're like, our pancakes are much bigger than this. And we think of these pancakes that are the size of dinner plates. And we're like, no, it's like the size of a CD, if the kids remember what those are nowadays. But it's really small, and you should have one, maybe two of those. So it really drives home that point of how much are we putting on our plates for a meal.
Okay. So can you talk a little bit more about the other props that we have? So if anybody else is like curious and like how much?
Absolutely. So in here, besides the pancake, which is a grain, our fruit and our vegetable, we have this wonderful square here which represents meat. So it could be beef, chicken, pork, and it's the size of a card. So about the size of a deck of cards is what we want to eat for a meat portion. So when you think of those, maybe 16-ounce steaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really need to eat like a third of that. Same with our friendly fish here. He's really popular with the kids. Everybody knows those phones. So it's a great way to say, let's put down that technology for that too, reducing that screen time. But also, when we're eating fish, we want to eat about the size of our normal cell phones.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the normal, because now they're coming with phablets. So
Yes,
they're
your traditional cell
Traditional
phone.
cell- okay.
That's not the it's a
So
phablet.
Yeah, because I would pull that out. So
The big one here, this computer mouse, which represents pasta or rice. You know, think of those bowls of pasta you might get at your favorite Italian restaurant. They're huge. And so you really only want like the size of a mouse. Again, cheese, maybe to go on your hamburger, the size of 2 Dominoes. So a very small portion of cheese. And possibly my favorite here is the cookie.
yes.
I mean, look at this cookie. It is the size of a yo-yo, fits easily in your hand. You should have 1, possibly 2, depending on the type of cookie. And think of the cookies that maybe like my grandma makes. They look more like this pancake down here than this nice little yo-yo.
Oh my goodness. So it's weird. I think too is because people's their plate size too have a lot of that. So what kind of size plate would you recommend for people to use? Like just a small one, because people do have this tendency to want to fill the plate. And my family, you know, my family was like this, like, is that enough? I'm like, yeah, it's enough because it's not filled, but I have a giant bowl, so it seems like a little bit. So you recommend like a small plate?
Just a smaller plate. There's actually plates out there that can portion size everything out. So that will help to, if people don't really understand what they need to put in their plates.
Right.
So they do have plates out there that you can actually purchase to kind of put your meal on the plate. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I see here you have a thing here.
Yes.
Can you explain what this is here?
Yes, this is the My Plate. It took the place of the food pyramid.
Okay.
And so when we're out at Youth Village or wherever we are teaching about the My Plate. And if you notice that half the plate is fruits and vegetables. So we're telling the people in the community and our youth, you need to fill your plate half with fruits and vegetables. And also with the greens, we tell them to make the greens whole, and then of course protein, and then you have your dairy. So this is a really good way people can see what they need to eat as far as a balanced meal. So these are all the items that they need to have on their plate. Yeah.
That makes it really easy.
Yes.
And then y'all did not see this, but during the break, the producers of the show was having a lot of fun with that little thing right there. So can you explain that little squishy object that they could not help but touch it?
Those are probably the most popular things on any table that we have. So that big guy there that Chandra has represents 5 pounds of fat. It's what that looks like. And this little one up front here is 1 pound. And it's really amazing when you hold them how heavy they are.
Yeah.
And they represent just the fat and how quickly it adds up when we're drinking our sugary beverages or maybe eating things that aren't so healthy for us and we're not getting that physical activity.
That makes like a huge difference. Like a while ago, I actually lost weight. I lost 40 pounds. And to look at that and say like I actually lost like 8 of those, it's pretty weird. Like it doesn't seem like it, but I know it's like spaced out around your body.
Exactly.
But and I guess another way you can have an idea, a while ago before we really looked at what kind of food you get, and when you're talking about replacement, we used to get the regular hot dog, that says like mechanically separated every random thing that. Well, I used to joke because I didn't like washing the dishes then, because what happens is I noticed over time it hardened and it looked like that. Like it was just like a thick layer of disgustingness, and I'm like, wait a second, that means that if it dried up in this container, it is doing the same thing inside. So then we went and got beef, and it doesn't do that. I noticed that afterwards. I don't mind washing it, but now I don't see any of that. It's not like that. Yeah, so that's really kind of interesting, like learning about all of this. So lastly too, there was another program that you had, and you said it was like a field trip that you have to local supermarkets. Sandra, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, I actually take no credit for this. I actually partnered with Catholic Charities. They actually are the ones that got the grant and to do grocery store tours to help families shop healthy on a budget. And I just wanted to volunteer because this was something that I wanted to do, and it fits perfectly what I'm teaching people in the community. And with the shopping tours, we are teaching their families how to shop healthy on a budget. We're teaching them how to read a nutritional label, because a lot of them don't know what they're putting into their bodies. But with this tour, it's teaching them how to read a label. It's teaching them to look for their sugars. It's teaching them how to shop for like fresh fruit, frozen and then canned. It's also teaching them about their grains and things like that. And the My Plate, it teaches them how to utilize the My Plate. And then one of the biggest things with the grocery store tours, once we finish, it takes about a little over an hour. We do a $10 challenge. So I challenged them to make a healthy meal using the My Plate, but they only can spend $10.
Wow.
So we've gotten a lot.
They've been so creative. What these families have been able to do.
Yes. And so, and it puts them in the mind that yes, they can shop healthier on a budget. So it's been very, very good. I do have a couple left that I will do. So yeah, I'm loving the grocery store tours, and also with the grocery store tours, after they finish, they get a Walmart gift card.
Wow, that's really cool. That sounds like a lot of fun, and it's true. I don't think that many people know, because I think I hear, and I think it's an excuse when people say, well, it's too expensive to eat healthy, so I'm just going to go ahead and eat unhealthy. And I think it is an excuse, so I think it's really good idea that you're doing that and showing like, it is possible.
Yes.
And then, like you said, they got really creative with it. So
They did, and they learned about frozen options and how sometimes fresh produce can be expensive, especially if it's not in season. But frozen broccoli, frozen green beans, those are a really economical choice for many families.
I didn't even think about that, like food in season and out of season, and how they're more expensive, not expensive, and I heard about that too, about frozen food. Sometimes it's better in fruit too, because the nutrients in it, because it's frozen in there, and sometimes if it's fresh, you actually lose that over time. So I think that's pretty cool that you actually mentioned that as like an option. So if someone was interested in doing this field trip, what would they need to do?
They'll just need to contact me, and they'll call me and make reserve a time that they want to do the tour, and I'll get them set up.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So what should they expect when they just meet over at the grocery store or whatever?
Yes, they'll meet at, we're having the tours to Walmart, and we also want to thank Walmart for allowing us to do the tours. So they just meet us at Walmart, and when it's time to do the tour, we'll take the tour, and once they finish, like I said, they'll get that Walmart gift card.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for you all being on the show. So before we go though, is there any last thing you wanted to mention to everybody, just briefly like what we covered and how to contact you, Chandra?
Yes. I'll say, Katie, you want to start?
Okay.
Absolutely. If you're interested in learning more about 5210 or the Healthy Okaloosa Collaborative, any of the areas Access to Care, tobacco cessation, or healthy lifestyles, please reach out to either Chandra or I via the contact information. And our number is 850-833-9240, and we will be happy to work with you. And we love talking about 5210 out in the community. It's a wonderful initiative, and we're so happy to do it.
That's cool, and it's really easy, and I can remember it. You know, it's really simple, and I love that. So again, thank you guys so much for being on the show, and thank you all for watching us here on Insight.